We spoke with Lauren Hazel, a Flagstaff High School senior who just signed her letter of intent for NAU Swimming next year. Reporter Jasmine Flores has the details.
Flagstaff High School swimmer Lauren Hazel recently signed her letter of intent to swim competitively at NAU. But swimming wasn't always the path she was on.
So that's a good question. I actually was doing a lot of sports. I played soccer. Actually, in an injury, I resulted in climbing for the next couple of years. And my mom decided to, see if swimming was a good sport I could try. And, I got in the water and I just kind of took off.
For Lauren, her meets just don't consist of physical preparation, but mental preparation as well.
So before my race, I always like to visualize what I'm about to do, because you can't go into a race because you train every single day, probably knowing what to do, but you still need to visualize before you do it so you can do everything you need to do in that short amount of time, especially for me since I'm a sprinter. And then when you get on the blocks, you're actually supposed to clear your mind and just make sure you're competitive and ready to race and explode off that block and go all out in those 100s, 200s, and 50s. And in the middle of the race, I think I'm just focusing on my tempo and how fast I'm going, and honestly, you just kind of zone out until you hit the touchpad and, check the clock and see how fast you went. And after, usually happy no matter how I go, because, every race is something where you can grow and learn something.
Many people think swimming isn't as challenging as other sports, but it takes year-long practice for these swimmers to build up endurance.
In the middle, or the beginning and the middle of the season, due to my long course training I did all summer long, we trained long course, and it was all about endurance. And I think that translated really well into my high school season, where you're not only sprinting really fast, but you need that endurance to finish your race at that speed. And so I think that held through.
Back in 2015, Lauren placed third in the 100-yard backstroke, which qualified her for the USA Sectional for the first time ever. It is clear that that moment was super special for Miss Hazel.
I'll let you now. I touched that touchpad and I knew it was a good race. Even though my body was in pain, those last 25s, I pushed it as hard as I could because I know I wanted to get that sectional cut and place at that meet as hard as I could, because it was so competitive my junior year and harder my senior year. But I was so happy. I think I cried that meet because it was so exciting.
When I asked Hazel if swimming was something she wanted to do for the rest of her life, her answer was obvious.
Yes, swimming is something that is just stuck in my life, and it's become my daily routine, and I just can't imagine my life without it, because I wake up every morning and I actually enjoy getting in the pool at 6 a.m. and swimming with my teammates. And I try to train hard and have fun while doing it. So.
With the overtime, I'm Jasmine Flores.
Thanks to Lauren and Jasmine for that interview, and best of luck in the season next year.